right, guys. It's your boy again, Earnie Royalty. Welcoming you to another great episode of the Royalty Mindset Podcast. You know how we run it here. We bring you information that will transform your life forever, if applied. All right, on this great episode, I am with a dear friend, a great mind, someone whom I have known for more than 15 years now and still counting. And ever since we connected, we have been flying, literally. We think alike, we connected so easily, we share a lot of things in common. And that is the reason why I thought of this topic. I was like, yeah, I can think of no other person than this guest to share this topic with. I am very optimistic that your life will be transformed after listening to this topic. Without much further ado, I'm just going to right in and just introduce my guest, Promise Collins.
My bro.
The Wealth Solution.
Well back in school, man.
Way back in school.
Way back in university days.
Way back in undergrad days.
I'm telling you.
It's been a great ride with you, brother.
I'm telling you.
You know, you are called the Wealth Solution for a reason. Because you create wealth. You create wealth, and a lot of people have been blessed
with it, yeah, exactly.
through your formula.
Exactly.
All right, so I'm so glad and I'm very happy
Thank
for
you.
what you're doing.
Thank you.
You are impacting the world for good.
Thank you.
Keep riding, brother. Keep riding. Keep riding.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you for coming on set with me today.
Thank you for having me, bro.
It's a pleasure having you,
Thank you.
and I know our audience, our viewers,
Thank you.
are going to benefit a lot from this topic.
I believe, I hope so. I pray so.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
So guys, the topic for today is the recreative process. How our mindset can help us achieve our goals, put simply. And we are going to be diving deeper into this topic and providing you the formula, the right formula that works, that will help us get to our next level in life. So Promise,
Exactly.
talk to me.
Wow.
What is the recreative process?
Okay. Thank you very much for having me here. And I'm really, really glad to be here. Now, talking about the recreative process, we have to start from somewhere. We have to go to the genesis. You understand? We talk about the recreative process or a creative process. You have to go to the genesis because we are actually created by an entity called God. So God created us. Do you understand? Made us. And before making us, there was an intention. There was a desire. So if you're going to talk about the creative process, the first thing first you must start with is desire. Desire is the fuel. If there is no desire, forget about the process because you won't have anything at the end of the process. Because a lot of people are out there, a lot of individuals, they find it very difficult to understand the inherent ability that is given to them already. Because God made us in His own likeness and image. And simply put, that He has given us the ability to procreate. Do you understand? To become a creator. Now we have houses, we have a lot of things. This actually emanated from the mind, from the human mind. And it started with desire. So in anything you want to do, you start with desire, specific desire. You must know what you want, define it first. That is the genesis of the creative process. So if you talk about desire, because at the end of this podcast, there's a formula which I actually got from my mentor. I'm going to put it out there. And if you engage this process, it will shape your life and transform your life for good. Now, the first thing is desire. So if you live the desire, that means, let's say, for instance, what you want to do is to become a pilot or a doctor. Let's put a doctor. You want to become a doctor. You know the process of becoming a doctor. Do you understand? You go through school. How many years? After that, you become a doctor. But you must also note in the creative process that what becomes or what actually empowers you to become, or everyone that have become, what makes them unique is their mindset. The doctor you know is in the mindset. because you've gone through a process of training and you have become a doctor.
Right.
Remember, you are still the same person, same individual, but the mindset is now a doctor, because what you've actually digested and put inside of you is what you're now manifesting, but you're still the same person. So there are people out there that have not understood this thing. So if you talk about the creative process, it starts with desire. That's number one. Number two, the next thing is the imagination. If you define your desire, define everything, there must be a mental projection, a mental manifestation of what you want. If you do not put that, forget it. It won't work, because success is 99%. Do you understand? 99% spiritual. Why? 1% success is actually in the physical, which is actually most of us run in the physical. We struggle in the physical, not understanding that the success first starts in the spiritual realm. When I say spiritual realm here, I'm talking about your imaginative world, your imaginative mind. There is a mentor that says something. He said your imaginative power is your creative ability. Your imaginative power is your creative ability. So you cannot just you cannot just desire a thing and jump to getting it done without first creating it in the spirit world. So in creating the mental picture of what you want, what you desire, and putting it out there, you are actually making those things, and in that reality, God wants to make man. He said, let us make. He had already made man already before the man manifested in the physical.
Wow.
So man was first made already before you see the physical manifestation of man. So there are two levels. The first one is in the spirit, then the second one is in the physical. So the second one is imagination, which must be very, very important. Now the third one, which is very, 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 very vital. The first one is desire. The second one is your imagination. The third one, now, in getting this thing manifested, is your confession. And your confession of what you want. Talk about the self-confident formula from Napoleon Hill. You confess and affirm what you want. Because remember, whatever you want, in the desire level, you must put it down. You must write down and state clearly your desire. And the second one is to begin to create the mental picture of what you've written down, to digest it. Do you understand? And once you do that, the next step is to affirm that which you want. In that affirmation, it doesn't end there. The next step is the skill required. Because if there's no skill, you won't be able to get that thing done. That means you must learn and gather necessary information required to help you to get that thing done. Very, very important, because you want to be a doctor. I'm not going to learn about becoming a doctor. That's where the skill comes in. You won't become. You will not be able to function to treat, or you want to treat people. You won't become. So the skill is the next phase, which is very, very important, and this is where a lot of people miss this. And that is where your value is. When you talk about you have a value, that is the value. Your skill is your value. Someone once said, if you bring value to the marketplace, reward is inevitable. That means if you bring value to the marketplace, you will get paid for it. Anywhere, anytime.
Absolutely.
That is what a lot of people lack. It's good to go to school, but you must understand that you have to sharpen your value and be good at what you do. And this is what gravitates people to you, to your solution, that eventually gives you what you want while you're giving them the value you have in exchange. So I talked about desire. I talked about your imagination. In your desire, you have to write it down, your imagination. The third one, I talked about your confession, affirmation of what you want, because you are not creative.
Right.
You have to speak it forth into the physical dimension now. Do you understand?
Yes.
He said that there's a Bible quotation by verses that said something. He said, you collect those things that are not as though they were. Now you are calling to manifestation what you've created into the physical dimension. That is what you're doing.
Calling those things that be not
as though they were. Into the physical dimension. You are not speaking them to creation.
Homologia.
Yes, homologia, that's the Greek word. Yeah.
Right.
Homologia, you're speaking them to manifestation.
Right.
So once you do that, the next phase to understand, because many people, and this is very important, many people have gone through the desire process, the imagination process. Do you understand? They might have gone through the skill process, they have that. But taking that step to get it done is the problem. And this is where faith comes in. And this is a formula. Desire plus imagination, plus your confession, plus your skill, times faith equals to success.
Times faith.
Times, when it comes to faith, that
multiplied by faith.
That leap
Yes.
to take off and get it done is where the problem is. So that is times, that equals to success. So when it comes to now having the faith to take that step to get it done, it becomes a problem. That is where the problem is. Whatever you want to get done, if you've gone through this process, in getting it done, you don't have to think of how it will end or what will become the end result of it. What you should do, your own job, is to move and take necessary steps. Don't delay, don't doubt, just take that step no matter what. Complete the process. Then the how is not yours to get done. The how will show up. It is a natural law. The universe will definitely align with what you want to create and bring it to manifestation. Remember, you do not struggle when you plant the corn in the ground. You don't struggle. The corn will germinate. Yours is to just plant the corn and leave the rest to the nature and the universe. And you will see the corn sprouting and growing. These are law created already. And we must understand it. And if we go to every faith, these things are there. It's a natural process and a natural law. So I believe your desire you start with, plus imagination, plus your self-confident formula affirmation of affirming what you want, putting it to creation, speaking it to being. Then plus your skill, very vital. Get the necessary required information, necessary required skill, everything to become excellent. That when you do it, you do things excellently well, that people can see you, that you know what you're doing. Once you can do that, then the faith times faith. Remember, all the rest are plus. But when it comes to faith, times faith, because you need faith to really get things done in this dimension. And this is where a lot of people harm that. Faith is actually believing. Believing in every process, that all those process and what you desire can manifest. You don't doubt at all, you just go for it. Whatever your mind can conceive and believe, you can achieve.
Absolutely.
You can achieve.
Absolutely.
So
thank you so much. You see, what you have said so far is
Exactly.
very enlightening.
Exactly.
I should
Thank
start
you.
calling you Professor.
No.
You see, I have some, additions to, to what you've already mentioned.
Okay, bro.
You've given us the process breakdown. Guys, in case you don't know, process can actually be defined as series of activities
Exactly. Required.
that need to be completed in order to achieve a specific task.
Exactly.
That is a process. That's the definition of a process.
Creative process.
Now we're talking about the recreative process.
Yeah.
And you have actually broken down the different stages
Exactly.
or activities that need to be completed in order for that process to be achieved, for that task, whatever task it is that you have in mind to create to be achieved. Now, all what you have mentioned are the things we have seen in different religious books, different spiritual books. They all follow the same principle. Whether you talk about the Bible, you talk about the Quran, or whatever it is, they all follow the same principles. I am a Christian. We are Christians. So we study the Bible. We are only bringing our own perspective based on what we have read in the Bible. Now let me take us back to how the world actually began, the creation of the world, because that was a creative process. The Bible recalls in Genesis, in the book of Genesis chapter 1, where he says, the world was without form and void. And darkness was upon the face of the deep. Meaning that it was a chaotic situation, basically. And the Bible says that the Spirit of the Lord brooded upon the waters. What was it actually saying? God was trying to create. God was basically sitting and was like, why is this situation so chaotic? Why is there darkness everywhere? Why is there waters everywhere? Everywhere is just in a chaotic mass state. And he wanted a change. And he began to, first of all, imagine, which is what you mentioned. He said the first phase is desire. The second phase is imagination.
Exactly.
God desired a change.
Yeah.
And he began to imagine this change.
Yeah, mental picture.
That is the word brood. When the Bible says that the Spirit of the Lord brooded upon the water, that word brood is basically imagination. God was imagining what could happen. Can there be light in this darkness? Can there be separation of waters, and we have dry land and we have waters? Can there be separation of the land from the sky? And all of these things.
Creation,
He began to imagine.
Yeah.
And that point of imagination, like you mentioned, he said your imaginative ability is your creative ability.
Yeah.
That was said by a pastor Chris, actually. Pastor Chris Oyagilobe mentioned this in the book, Recreating Your World. I read this book in 2009, and that book changed my life for good. Recreating Your World. So, your creative ability, or your imaginative ability is your creative ability. God imagined, and he began to speak. That is the confession.
Let this be.
The confession aspect of it.
Let this separate from this.
Yes.
Let this go here.
Let
this go here.
Let there be light.
Let there be light. Let
the waters be separated from the land. Let the sky be separated from all of those things. He began
vegetation spring forth. Let it bring forth vegetation. All those things.
He spoke forth.
Speaking forth. And of course, if you do not believe that what you desire will come to manifestation, you won't even think of believing that this will come to manifestation or materialize. So that belief or faith is where a lot of people are missing it. So if your dream or vision is very mighty and big, that you are scared of it, that means you're in the right path. For the fact that you are scared of that particular dream that you have, you're scared of it, that means you're in the right path. You might be scared anyway, get it done anyway. You don't have to say, I'm afraid. Yeah, if you're afraid. Courage is not actually you doing something where you don't feel fear within yourself. It's not the opposite of fear. It's doing things regardless of the fear. That's courage. So you must have that faith and get it done. And also understand this very well, because who is a man at first? I said something, you must know yourself first. A man have a combination of three. There are three components that makes a man: the spirit, the soul, which is the soulical realm, and the body. So in the soulical realm, where we have our intuition, our emotion, our intellect, is where all those things are formulated. Because there must be an alignment with your spirit, with your soul, and your body. If there is disalignment in your soul, what you desire will not come to manifestation. There has to be an alignment of your spirit, of your soul. Then your body, speaking it in the speaking, they must come to become one. This is the process. There must be an agreement. Do you understand? There must not be disagreement or friction in between. So you must believe and speak out. Do you understand? So you say to this mountain, you say, be thou removed, and you speak, it come to pass. If thou canst believe. That's actually if that cow believes. So believing is the problem. So remember this every time, like the audience there. Let them also know that even currently, if you have any dreams, you have any vision, remember, success is 99% spiritual. And success is 1% physical. It's 1% in the physical and 99% spiritual. So this is why a lot of people walk and do a lot of things and keep walking and walking. At the end of the day, they are getting little done because they forgot other components and they focus on one, which is the strength. So this is where the problem is. If you can understand how to align them, maybe people that are hearing us now, they have a vision, they have a dream, that they line, follow, and low, and they want to get things done. They have a desire, but they don't know how to go through it. If you follow this formula very, very well, practically, definitely you will see that your dream will become a reality, and you start manifesting, living in your dream already, because in your imagination is actually you traveling and living in the reality of what you desire. It might not manifest in the physical, but you move and travel into that environment that you feel it and connect with it. It's like you are living it already. That energy is the fuel that will drive you in the physical. to quickly get things done. Because if you do not have that energy, that you already have it, like the Napoleon self-confident formula. You said, I'm so happy and grateful now that I've achieved that which I desire. I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm a doctor. You are not a doctor in the real sense, but you are affirming it in the present. So understanding the affirmation, you have to affirm it in the present. Not I'm going to. I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm now a doctor. I'm so happy. So the gratitude you put out there, do you understand? The gratitude you put out there that you're already in that reality of your desire.
On its own.
Exactly. So that gratitude that fuel you will make you feel that you're already there. The mentality of you already there. When you are just walking in the physical and getting into the store, you know that it's already done. You are just actually manifesting what you've concluded and cooked in the spiritual dimension.
This is so that's great. This is great. You see, I read a book many years ago by Earnie called The Fourth Dimension.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
In that book, Earnie described a situation where he desired some certain things.
Yeah.
A chair, a bicycle.
A bicycle, yeah.
And so many other
So many things, yeah.
He didn't have none of those things yet,
exactly.
but he just desired them, and then he began to confess.
Exactly.
Then he got to his congregation and told them, I've got this, I've got that, I've got that.
Yeah, I read about that.
And
too.
at the end of the meeting, some of the stubborn folks
want to find out
that were in the congregation were like, okay, we would like to go see that bicycle of yours that you just got.
At home.
We'd like to go see the chair, the table that you
everything at home
that you talked about today. You were so passionate and
that was several years back when those things are very valuable.
Exactly. And they said, we would like to see these things. And then he said, he was like, what do I tell these people? These people really did not understand the realm in which I was speaking. He had to just let them know. Well, those things I talked about, they are not here yet, but they are here. That was what he told them. He said, I'm pregnant with
it. Then I'll give birth to it.
Yes, I'm going to give birth to these things.
Exactly.
Some of them actually lost faith and like, what's this man saying? But long enough, those things he said all became a reality. They all became. Yeah. Yes. That is imagination, confection, and bringing those things to form.
Exactly.
They are not ordinary.
Exactly.
Life is spiritual, like you have said. You said everything we do is 99% spiritual and 1% physical.
Yeah.
Living that beautiful life is very possible.
Yeah.
If only you understand these principles.
Yeah.
I'll give my personal life, stories.
Yeah.
Many years ago, I had told myself, at so and so age, I'm gonna get my first car. At so and so age, I'm gonna get my first house. At so and so age, I'm gonna be this, I'm gonna be that.
Exactly.
I boldly declare these things to so many people around me.
Yeah.
And those with small mind couldn't really fathom what I was communicating at that point in time. Exactly. They said, oh, everybody dreams like that. You're just a dreamer. Is everybody dreams like that?
Just like the case of Joseph.
And they even said, even our fathers dreamt like that
too. Exactly.
Now they are at this age and they've not achieved those things which they dreamt of. I said, well, that's your dad. That's your fathers. This is me. Yeah. I'm different.
Know who you are.
Do you know exactly the time frame that I had mentioned that I will achieve those things? They all became. I achieved them all.
Oh, sure, definitely.
When I was talking about this, did I have the cash? Did I have the means?
No.
I never had the means to accomplish all of these things. I just had an imaginative power to recreate. See, sometimes when I think about these things, I just cannot but smile. You know my life.
I know. I could be a witness. So
yes,
I know.
I just smile
from the scratch.
You know how it all started.
Of course, I know all that.
So at that point in time, that's why nothing freaks me.
Yeah.
That's the mindset in which I operate.
Yeah.
I don't feel lack.
Someone said
I may be thinking of a project of $1 billion right now, and I do not have $1 billion as cash.
Yeah.
But guess what?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't freak me.
It will align.
Because I know it will align.
it will align.
You
It will align.
see, if you have tested with $1 million and you
Exactly.
discover that it was achieved,
Achieved,
you've
yeah.
tested with $10 million and you discover that it was achieved,
Yeah.
then nothing shakes you again.
It
Even
will
when it becomes
definitely
$10 billion.
You replicate what you did before, and you
Replication.
continue to do.
That's the skill.
Exactly.
That's part of the skill which you talked about as well.
Yeah.
You know, you become skillful
Yeah.
after doing and doing and doing
Yeah.
and doing.
As a creative process master.
Exactly. You become a master in that
master
process.
in the game. Yeah, exactly. So someone said something. Say your mindset determines your life settings. Your mindset determines the settings of your life.
Wow.
So if you get it right here, you will see your life already set internally, and you see everything manifesting the way you set it in your imagination or in your mind. So your life settings or the lifestyle, the settings in your life now that you see currently can be changed. If you're seeing some things in your life that is not good, that you're not okay with, you can change it. Now that is why a preacher said something that contend for mental transformation.
Right.
Transform, get transformed. That means continuously go for knowledge to be transformed. You know, the Bible actually talks about transform in the book of Romans, chapter 12, from 2. It said, do not be conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you may prove what is good. Do you understand? Acceptable and perfect will. So to become good, acceptable and perfect, to become good as a person,
it's a stage,
and become acceptable in the society that you are to function, and perfect, it requires renewing your mind. So if you renew your mind, definitely you will see your life change. That is where the change, you go into your engine and reprogram your mind to be able to see a different result of what you're seeing now. If you're seeing the result you don't like, you can go to your imagination, to your mind, and change it. Now, if you talk about changing, you must understand that you have to expose yourself to information that will reprogram you first. It is from that reprogramming you can now connect with and start changing things that you want and resetting your life the way you want it to be. So that's just it. That's just it.
Wow. Bro. You see, this is what this podcast is actually all about. Recreating or shifting people's mindset. Re-engineering people's mindset.
Exactly.
Just for them to understand the power that govern the universe. You don't need to be a Christian, you don't need to be a Muslim, you don't need to be, just be whatever you are, but do not joke with your mind. Your mind is who you are. That's what makes you.
As a man thinketh.
As a man thinks in his heart, so he is.
So he is. And they said, guide your heart
diligently.
Will not diligent.
Yes.
Out of it flows the
issues of life.
Now you now see where I said your mindset determines your life settings. The issues of life that are moved out of you.
Issues of life.
Things of life.
Yes.
So you guide it jealously and point it to the right direction that is in connection to what you want. If you do that and you guide it jealously, because there are some negative things that will come at it. We live in a negative dimension where a lot of things happen and negativity sells so faster. So guiding your mind, because you must watch what you feed your mind with. You must be very conscious to what you expose your mind to. Very, very important. Protect it. That's what it's saying. Guiding it jealously against negative attacks that want to eat up and reprogram your mind. Because if you do not consciously reprogram your mind, the word and the information and system will reprogram it automatically
for you.
So those who consciously reprogram their mind deliberately and consciously, those are the people winning in life, because they know and they understand this. If you want to go with the crowd, don't consciously program your mind. Just do whatever you like and just go with the known system. But if you consciously program your life and choose the information that is consistent with what you desire and want, then of course you become an high flyer, definitely in life. I can assure you, this thing works over and over again. Go and research the top guys, the achievers, the 1% guys. Go and find out how they do things. They do things deliberately, consciously.
One thing is common amongst these guys.
All of them. All of
their
them.
mindset.
Their mindset.
Like that's what I mentioned before. Irrespective of your belief.
Exactly.
Irrespective of your religion.
Exactly.
Or your affiliation.
Exactly.
One thing is certain.
Yeah.
Your mindset.
Yeah.
And something prompted me to just say this. You will think, some guys watching this right now will say, what are they even talking about? The richest man in the world, are they Christian? Are they Muslim? Are they this? Are they that? All kind of stuff. And they will say they don't even believe in God. That's what some of them will say.
Yeah.
Believing in God or whatever does not have anything to do with this mindset I'm talking about right now. It is just a lifestyle.
Yeah.
It makes sense if you believe in God.
Of course, definitely.
A big advantage.
Yes.
I believe in God.
Of course, I believe too.
Yes. Anyone that doesn't believe in God, I don't think that person is actually thinking right. That's for me.
Yeah.
If you do not believe in God, sorry, you are not thinking right, because there is God. And it helps you, if you truly believe in God, to understand this mindset we're talking about deeply.
Yeah.
Life is spiritual.
Yeah.
You can't say you are spiritual and then you don't believe in God.
Yeah.
If you believe in God, I mean you're spiritual.
Exactly.
I don't know whatever kind of God you believe in, but the moment, as long as you believe in God, you're spiritual.
Exactly.
But Hollywood does have levels of spirituality, levels in this realm.
As you learn, knowledge-wise,
you see things and you learn more and you see more, that kind of stuff. But what I was trying to communicate is that the big guys you hear about, the 1% we talk about every now and then, have something in common, and that's the way they think.
Exactly.
Their mindset, their way of thinking.
I would like to say this.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at in the body of faiths, let me use the word faiths in terms of the religious body. Now, I don't just want to, program it or project it to a particular specific religion.
But
do you understand? Generally, if you look at the religious just word and what happened there, do you understand? They believe in God or they believe in whatever they believe, but they've not been able to connect the dots. They are spiritual, very, very spiritual, but they don't understand that when it comes to things, you must understand how to manifest things. It is a knowing, it is a knowledge. That is why you can see whether Hindu, whether anything, billionaire is a billionaire. Once he's a billionaire, you just know this person is a billionaire in this world, and they are controlling things. Why? Why is it like that? Because they learn, they know something, they discover a secret, they learn something, they master it, they actually practicalize the principle, and that is why you see them ruling. So you must understand how to connect the dots and marry this together to understand that your religion, your spirituality is there. It is good to believe and, whatever you believe and understand it. But you must understand that when it comes to playing here, remember we are all humans. This is a human world. There are natural laws, natural principles that you must understand and engage to, the law of gravity. Whether you are black or white or good or bad, you jump from the building, you hit the ground.
of course.
That is the law. Cause and effect. We have different laws. So if you engage and practice and engage those laws, you will see the results. The resultant effect will manifest. So when we are talking about this creative process, you must understand that this creative process are principles. They are principles. They are principles, whether you agree with it or not, they are there. Like laws. You speak out, whatever you think, you see it manifest. How come when you think about something negative, and haven't you experienced where you talk about something negatively and you see that it manifests? Immediately say, I thought about this. How? It's to tell you how powerful you are as a human. We are created uniquely, wonderfully made. We are not just an ordinary entity. Do you understand? We are free moral agents. And we've been given that will to create, to be what we want to be. I know people actually use it negatively, but you must understand that if you engage the principle very well, you will definitely see yourself doing things that you've not even thought of. Because the search for a man is to discover himself. That's a very serious search. A man is doing everything possible to discover himself, discover his purpose, and that fight has been for a long time. And it's just to understand, start from the creator first, to understand the process and the laws. Then in doing that, you connect that to yourself. You know that this thing and the process is how it aligns. Remember, I said something. You do not struggle when you plant the corn, and the corn doesn't struggle to grow. It's a law. Understand? And that is how it is also in the realm of the spirit. It's also a law. You do this, you do that, this is the result. So we're talking about the principles and the law. If you talk about creative process, they are principles and laws, being governed, controlled around these things.
Right.
So you must understand the principles and laws. And so when you understand the principles, the laws, and you engage the process, you'll see the result. That's very, very certain, honestly.
In rounding up, right, I would just say, how can people benefit from this? How can they, make use of this information in their day-to-day life? We have already said a lot on what can be done or what they can do to enjoy the benefit of this power that we've been given by God. How can they apply this principle consciously to having a good result?
Okay, now you must first of all start. The desire I talked about, he said, write the vision down, make it plain. You have to define and write your vision down. Write
whatever it is that you want to achieve,
put it down.
Have it in mind.
The write it down. Put it down, make it plain, make it constructively plain. Very
Be specific.
Be specific and make it plain what you want first, and begin to break it down. When you start with that, and you go through the creative process that I talked about, there's one thing I actually note and discovered among the top 1%, and is their routine. Because every day to day,
say it louder.
There's a particular thing I've discovered that is very, very similar in the top 1% in this world, in the cosmos, and that is their daily routine. Because what you do every day is actually, a cumulative resultant of what you will later see at the end. Do you understand? So you must understand that your daily routine, if your daily routine is poor, in as much as you have the process, you will still get the same result. Because it is what you do consciously every time. When you wake up, what do you do in the morning? After, you must have a structured routine. For instance, you wake up, maybe as a Christian or so, you pray. From the praying, maybe you have a book that you're studying that is actually in alignment with what you want. You study them, you have a time for that. You have a time to exercise. You have a time, so you just have a structured daily routine that you follow daily on, day to day, every day. So this will you will eventually get used to it, that you will see yourself walking in the reality of what you want. Because in the routine, your daily routine, that is actually what is very important, and it takes discipline. If you start the first time, you might not really, you might make 1 or 2 mistakes. But if you do that consistently for 21 days, of course, you get used to it automatically. But you must construct and, pin down and write down your daily routine. This is what they do every day. If I want to study a rich man, or I meet with, not a rich man, a wealthy man, if I meet with a wealthy man, and if there's anything I really want to get from this man, is to know his daily routine. That's just what I want. If apart from all the things I mentioned, if you capture the daily routine of this man, then of course, and replicate it, definitely you can create the same result that man created, because it's very, very important. Your daily routine is very vital, and I tell you to take it seriously, because many people will wake up, they just go straight to social media. Social media is good, and it can also reduce and limit your productivity, because if you stay there and keep scrolling and watching, it will affect your mind. A lot of information coming, it will make you very dull, make you very weak, sleepy, and tired. So you must know how to program your time. Remember, time is the currency of life, and you must know how to navigate and use it wisely. It's the currency of life. So if you value time, every 1 hour, minute that you spend, you definitely have to align or attach a particular thing to it. So you must first value their time, because the 1% values their time very, very well. You must value your time. You must have your time of study. You know, people find it very hard to actually study or read a book because they don't understand the techniques behind it. It's a routine as well. You have a book you read in a month, and you break it down. Maybe within 1 hour of the day, or a few minutes of the day, you just read 3 or 4 pages. So you do it daily. The next day you do the same thing. Before you know, you're done with a book. Do you understand? And as you do those processes, you are reprogramming your mind. There is a mindset of the wealthy. You are reprogramming your mind gradually because this creative process or reprogramming your mind takes a long time. It's not something that happens automatically. Just like what I would say, when it comes to accepting the belief of Christianity, it can happen at a spot. But when it comes to reprogramming your mind to be able to walk in the likeness, do you understand?
Yeah.
And walk in the reality of what the Bible says, of what God wants you to do or be, it takes process.
Right.
And this is where a continuous renewing of your mind daily comes in. And that daily, said daily, renew your mind daily. It's a daily thing that moves from day to week, week to month, month to year. So your day-to-day activity or day-to-day routine, it's what matters after this process I talked
So
about.
all of these will help you, balance your imaginative ability.
Creating and reprogramming your mind, re-engineering your mind. You must have the books, information needed, and you must definitely expose yourself to those things on a daily basis.
And then the other thing I would say, just to add to what you said, right?
Yeah.
Talking about how this can be applied in their
Exactly.
daily lives. You said they have to write it down, make it specific, whatever it is that is their goal.
Yeah.
And then they should study and change their mindset.
Yes.
And then confess. You continuously, because your mind now has been
it's part of the daily routine I talked about.
It helps you understand your confession point. How to be positive always. And continuously speaking for those things that you want.
Exactly.
You actually bringing them from the realm into the physical, because they all exist.
And you know about the mirror techniques. The mirror techniques principle, the law. Now, going into the mirror and confessing to yourself. Do you understand? Confessing and putting it out there, looking at yourself, affirming to yourself. This actually builds self-confidence. Now, when I talk about faith, maybe some people will think it's just a spiritual faith. Let me break it down now. When I talk about faith, I talk about the self-confidence required to propel you and empower you to get that thing done. And where that comes from is where you use the mirror principle and you're affirming to yourself. So affirmation and affirming those things you want actually help to develop self-confidence required to get those things done.
This is deep.
Required the self-confidence. So your affirmation helps you to develop self-confidence. If you lack self-confidence, no matter the height of your dream, you go nowhere. Because you're going to meet people. You're going to do a lot of things. So self-confidence is required. So to have that require enough self-confidence, affirming your dream to yourself, affirming who you are to yourself, helps to build the faith I talked about. Times faith helps to develop the faith required, the self-confidence. So when I say faith, I'm talking about the self-confidence here required. Self-belief that's required to get those things done. So it is an affirmation. That is what helps you to develop the required self-confidence, and you see yourself moving confidently with boldness towards achieving your dream.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
In fact, if we continue, you know how it is. Whenever we have this discussion, we always we're passionate about this.
Exactly.
And we don't want to keep talking and get people not wanting to view the entire episode.
Okay.
We want to just cut it short here.
Exactly.
I believe we've given enough information required to bring anybody out of dunghill into that table where that has been set.
Upper echelon.
That table
excellent.
that has been set for them to actually see that. So, guys, this is where we draw the curtain for today's episode. I hope you gain a lot from this? Let us know what you think. Put it on the comment section. We also want to hear your opinions. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you again on the next episode. We're out. Thank you.
Thank you, bro, for having me here.
Absolutely.